The year is 480 BC. A messenger arrives at the narrowest pass in Greece. He carries an order from the most powerful man in the known world: surrender or everyone dies. The king who receives the message doesn't answer with words. He simply points to the cliff behind him. Then, 300 men position themselves in front of an army of hundreds of thousands. And what happened in the days that followed changed the course of history forever. But the truth of what actually happened is very different from what most people believe. And that truth is far more fascinating than any movie. To understand why 300 men stood their ground against an empire, you have to understand who that empire was. Xerxes was not simply a king. He was the ruler of the largest empire the world had seen up to that point. His territory stretched from Egypt to India. From the Mediterranean Sea to the steppes of Central Asia, tens of millions of people lived under his rule. And when he decided to invade Greece, he assembled an army so large that ancient sources say it took 7 days to cross a single bridge. The exact numbers are still debated today, but modern historians estimate between 100,000 and 300,000 soldiers. Against that, all of Greece combined could barely gather a few thousand. And why did Xerxes want to conquer Greece? The answer is a single word: revenge. His father, Darius the Great, had tried the same thing 10 years earlier and was humiliated at the Battle of Marathon by the Athenians. Xerxes grew up with that defeat as an open wound, and when he came to power, he swore to finish what his father couldn't. Greece was not a unified country the way we know it today. It was a patchwork of independent city-states, often enemies of each other. Athens and Sparta hated each other. Corinth trusted no one. But when Xerxes' message arrived demanding earth and water as symbols of surrender, some cities joined together to resist. Others simply gave in, because no one in their right mind believed it was possible to win. The Greek plan was desperate, but brilliant. If they couldn't win in numbers, they could choose the terrain. And the terrain they chose was the pass of Thermopylae, a corridor between the mountain and the sea, so narrow that in some places only a handful of men could stand side by side. There, the enemy's numbers meant nothing. An army of millions becomes a single file of men forced to walk one by one into shields and spears waiting for them. The man who led that defense was Leonidas, king of Sparta, a soldier since the age of 7, and according to history, one of the few who fully understood what going to Thermopylae meant. It wasn't a mission to win the war. It was a mission to buy time. Time for the rest of Greece to prepare. Time for the Athenian fleet to find its moment. And he knew it. The film 300 shows Leonidas going in secret, defying the laws of Sparta. The reality is simpler and more interesting. The decision to send troops to Thermopylae was agreed upon by several Greek cities. Leonidas didn't act alone or in secret. He led a force of around 7,000 men in total, of whom 300 were full Spartan citizens. The rest were soldiers from other cities: Thespians, Corinthians, Arcadians, all equally prepared to die. For 2 days, the Greeks held off everything Xerxes threw at them. First came the Medes. They failed. Then the Scythians. They failed too. Then Xerxes sent in his immortals, the most feared elite unit in the empire. 10,000 warriors who had never lost a battle. And the Greeks stopped them, just like everyone else. But here's what most people don't know. The Spartans didn't win because they were invincible. They won because the terrain made them invincible. In a pass only meters wide, a well-trained phalanx can stop any army in the world. It wasn't magic. It wasn't superhuman. It was pure strategy. What was real, and no one disputes this, was the betrayal. A local man named Ephialtes revealed to the Persians the existence of a hidden path that wound through the mountains and came out behind the Greek position. He wasn't Spartan. He wasn't a deformed warrior like in the film. He was simply a man who, for reasons no one knows with certainty, chose to stand on the wrong side of history. His name, Ephialtes, became the Greek word for traitor, and it still means nightmare in Greek today. When Leonidas learned they were surrounded, he sent most of the allied forces back, but he and the 300 Spartans stayed, and with them around 700 Thespians who also chose to die. That's something almost nobody mentions. The Thespians didn't have the option to flee. The Persians had already burned their city. They had nowhere to go back to, so they chose to make their deaths count. The final day was brutal and short. The Greeks moved out of the narrow pass into open ground, knowing they would die there, but taking as many enemies with them as possible. Ancient sources say Leonidas fell in that final charge, and that his men fought over his body until they were brought down by a rain of arrows. Xerxes ordered Leonidas's body to be decapitated and crucified, a gesture that said more about the fear he felt than about any victory he had won, because the Persians had taken the pass, but they had lost something more valuable. They had lost time. A year later, at the Battle of Plataea, the Greeks defeated the Persian army decisively. Xerxes never attempted to conquer Greece again, and the Western world as we know it took the path it took in part because 300 men chose not to move from a mountain pass. But here's the part nobody talks about. Before Thermopylae, Sparta was not known for being invincible. It didn't have that reputation. No ancient source from before that battle describes them as the greatest warriors in the world. That reputation was born after the event. What turned the 300 into legend wasn't how they fought. It was the decision to stay when they could have left. It was the story that was told afterward. It was the narrative Greece needed to believe it could win. And that, perhaps, is the most human part of this entire story. That the difference between a historical fact and a legend isn't always in what happened. It's in how people choose to remember it.